Right, 2021 is finally here, and the new year always comes with a feeling of hope. To discuss what the future might bring, I'm joined now by astrologer, that's Linda Shaw. Linda, a very warm good morning to you. Happy New Year. How did you cross over?
Well, I basically just kept working, you know. The day never ends for astrologers. This is probably my busiest time of the year.
I'm sure, because we're all keen and curious. Is 2021 coming with some good news?
You know, we're starting a new cycle. This is the beginning of a 200-year cycle in which we're focusing on the energy of air, in which we're looking at humanitarian decisions, different ways of running the world in a more humanitarian way, in which the grassroots people are considered, in which air is considered to be a very important commodity. We're going to be learning how to fly. We're going to have jetpacks. They've even got in France. They've got some of the police people are using jetpacks to fly above crime scenes. So we're using our abilities in different ways. We're communicating in different ways. I mean, I've learned how to use Zoom in less than a year, which is fabulous. I think the difficulties of this year will be that crime will probably increase, more job losses, which is a bit of a pain. But I think the most important energy of this year is flexibility. We have to learn how to be less stubborn and more able to adapt to the constant changes. Because, as I say, it's the beginning of a 200-year cycle, and changes are going to come very, very rapidly.
Yeah.
With everything digital and governments trying to regulate all sorts of things that are happening on, I mean, for example, our relationship. Somebody was just given permission to marry a plastic doll in China. So everything is being regulated in a completely new and fascinating way for us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick on, different star signs here, and, perhaps our viewers could say, why are you picking one and not the other? But let me just pick your brain on just two here, for instance. I mean, if you are, for example, an Aquarius, I mean, what could this year then, for you individually, bring for you?
Aquarians and Capricorns have probably battled the most, I think, with this year, because all the planets have been sort of hovering around their energies, and they've had to be the toughest. And so they've had the most important changes happening in their lives, and therefore the most fascinating things are going to be happening for them. Capricorns certainly are going to be taking leadership positions and becoming very powerful. Aquarians are the bringers of new thinking. Aquarians are the people who drag us into the future. So they're the people who are always considered to be the weirdos and the oddballs, and yet we're starting to understand that they're the ones we need, who think out of the box and who drag us forward. So Aquarians are going to stop being the peculiar ones covered in tattoos and black lipstick, and they're going to be our new leaders.
Yeah.
Aquarians and Capricorns, very powerful year for both of them.
No, I don't mean to bring people into my personal business, but I'm Gemini, and I know that I definitely have my New Year's resolutions. So can I just ask you what you have in store for me as a Gemini, just to see if it corresponds with what I have planned for 2021?
Gemini, Geminis are the world's communicators, so you're obviously in exactly the right field.
Right.
They're the ones who gather information from all different sources and bring it together and share it with the world. So this year, Geminis are being forced to push themselves beyond the limit, take themselves out of the box. So you're going to have to take a real bunch of real risks this year, which could be a bit frightening, but Geminis have enormous courage and are always youthful. They always have this very young way of seeing the world, and a way of seeing it as a new place to start something different. So possibly relationships ending, changes in relationships which will change your focus and make you feel more alone as a Gemini. But halfway through the year, you're being pulled in a brand new direction, and the career's taking off in a fascinating new way.
Linda, no, not Corona taking my relationships from me. Hopefully for the good, though. Hopefully for the good.
Indeed.
All right, I'm going to let you go in just a moment. Before I do, I mean, some lessons that you feel that we can learn definitely from the year that was, coming into the year that is 2021. We've been through so much. Obviously, people are hoping being the doing word there, for a better year this year.
Yeah, I think this year is about understanding how powerful we are. Instead of just sort of sitting there and hoping something gets better, we have to take action. And everything these days is about digital presence. So we're having to learn how to manage our own marketing, our own business skills online. And we're going to have to reorganize distribution, networking, and become part of a community. So we're having to share our ideas and share our energies and trust each other. It's a very powerful year in terms of just becoming larger communities and developing fabulous empathy. I think it's a great year for us.
Yeah,
flexibility is the key, though. We can't be stubborn.
Absolutely. I think if anything, before, COVID and before all this pandemic, I've never seen us rally together. I mean, in the past, it's usually good fences make for good neighbors. The next person really didn't want to know what their neighbor's going through. But for the first time in a very long time, I do feel a sense of community. I feel a sense of we're in this together. If I wear a mask, I protect you, so we have to do this together.
Isn't it wonderful?
Wonderful.
I must say, I have suddenly, made friends with all my neighbours for the first time, and I've been here for 100 years. So you're absolutely right. And we're setting up these sort of communal WhatsApp so that we all know what's going on and who needs help. It really is quite remarkable, and I'm very excited about it.
All right.
We're also looking at, I think, the way that we're wearing masks, I think, is training us for a future in which our air quality is not so great. I mean, in certain parts of the world already there are oxygen bars. So we're going to get to a point where we probably will be wearing masks for a lot of the time. So this is good training. But certainly I think we're all interacting in a way that is wonderful. We suddenly care about each other, and I think that's the greatest thing we can take from 2020.
That's amazing. Well, Linda, always great talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the first day of 2021. Linda Shaw.